do not think that my life has been just full of unremarkable events of public interest. I believe that we have a rich and complex history in this mid-20th century, and that we need to express that complex history. So he wrote this song called "We Didn't Start the Fire," and it just like supports my thought that Billy Joel was the first rapper, and that it's a very fast-paced song about the history of Billy Joel before 1989. Like, what has happened since his birth to 1989? Like, what all happened then?
Okay. Like, leading up to his 1989.
Yeah, because World War II was over.
Yeah.
But so many things have happened since then, don't you think?
Since World War II?
Yes, since.
Yeah, I mean, the world is ever-changing.
With 30 years of perspective, we see that these things that Billy Joel saw at the time had a major impact on what society and what the United States life is like.
Yeah, definitely. And even the beginning of globalization through all of that.
Yeah. I argue to say that globalization started before World War One, but
that's
because I have
I think the intensity of it,
yes,
built.
Definitely. So, are you ready for "We Didn't Start the Fire"?
Yeah, we can do that.
This might be a very shallow dissection because it is very fast-paced and very wordy. But I will be rapping along to this because this is the only rap song I actually know.
In the studio, or should I leave your microphone on so you can impress our listeners?
No, you should leave the microphone off.
Let's take a vote. All in favor of leaving the mic on, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Nay.
Parker, you don't count. You don't get to vote in this.
I get to vote.
Okay, so that was 5 in favor and 1 against.
Okay, are you ready for "We Didn't Start the Fire" by Billy Joel?
I'm as ready as I will ever be, Parker.
Okay, here we go. So, what do you think?
I thought that was, I recognized a few things that were talked about during that, and I was pretty proud of myself.
Speaking of things you recognize, I actually have a funny story about this song.
Okay, let's hear it.
I was listening to it on my way to my psych lab,
okay,
and I just was always curious about the pairing of AIDS, crack, and Bernie Getz. I don't know who Bernie Getz is, so I asked my professor, who is about 45, who Bernie Getz was, and he just gave me the strangest look, and he's like, he's a serial killer from the 80s. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. He doesn't. I'd be worried if it was a reputable person if he was paired with AIDS and crack.
Yeah.
But nope, he's a serial killer, so that's just the trifecta right there.
Just kind
AIDS,
of covering
crack, Bernie
everything.
Getz.
I do really appreciate this song a lot. It's just it'd be cool to hear a song written in this style, but about the things that have happened since the song was written.
That is an assignment for many history students, just so you know.
To write a song to this style? Really?
Yeah.
I have never heard of that assignment.
Yep, I actually got it my sophomore year of high school.
Okay, well, you went to a weird high school.
Fair enough, but at least I went to high school.
I mean, I did too.
Mine was better.
I mean, I'm not gonna say it was wrong. I'm just saying it was different. Maybe that's a better word.
Probably is, but overall, what did you think besides the, surface level of recognizing some stuff?
Thought it was killer social commentary on look at all this that's happening in our world, and honestly, if you think about it on a deeper level, you can probably really dig into the people who aren't aware about what's happening socially and like to live in a bubble and think that everything is cookie cutter and nice and all butterflies and rainbows. When something like this comes out, it's really like a slap in the face to say, all this is still happening out there. The world is still happening and things are going wrong. There are things that are really sucking, and you need to pull your head out of your butt and or pull your head out of the sand, whatever, and become aware of it.
It just makes you wonder, is "We Didn't Start the Fire" a person or a place? It just begs the question.
Is it a person or a place? Parker, I think it's a person.
Okay, I think you're wrong.
I can be wrong.
That's fair, but it's open to interpretation. That's a lovely thing about art.
Yeah.
You have the right to be wrong.
I was doing some art earlier today, and Parker.
What?
You can't know that art might be up for interpretation, but just because it's up for interpretation doesn't mean you're wrong.
What were you knowing to? Adjusting my mic?
No.
Am I allowed to adjust my mic?
No, I was making...
Am I not allowed to adjust my mic?
What was that?
Am I not allowed to adjust my mic? Stupid Seth.
Stupid
Flanders.
Parker. Anyways, I was telling a story. I was doing art earlier today, and I was getting frustrated because it wasn't turning out the way that I wanted it to. And, my friend said something really, really intentional. Wow, that was not the right word. Really, really uplifting, I think. And it's like this idea that we are our own worst critics. So I wonder if Billy Joel ever looks back on some of his music and you really love Billy Joel music. And I'm starting to really appreciate Billy Joel music too. But I wonder if he ever looks back on it and thinks, wow, I can't believe that I wrote that, but people still like it.
Well, I think that artists should not judge their own work.
Really?
Like Mark Twain thought his best work was Joan of Arc. Have you even heard of that?
I've heard of it.
Yeah, it's not his best work.
Yeah.
I can tell you that from, 150 years experience. Artists don't really have the objectivity to judge their own work.
Yeah. Because they poured so much of themselves into it that it tears them up to look at their own work.
Mm-hmm. And you know what? I just think that there is no such thing as the greatest Billy Joel song. Because all of them are special and unique in their own way, and they're like children.
Do you have any that you don't like? And this isn't like a bash on Billy Joel. This is legit curiosity. Do you have any that you just don't think worked out very well for him?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head, but maybe if we do this show long enough, we might get to some of my less enthusiastic songs.
What do you mean if we do this show long enough, Parker? We're going to be here forever. KSDB can't get rid of us.
Yes, they can.
We're like a leech.
No, I'm pretty sure we're not allowed to have this show after we graduate.
Oh, okay. I mean, forever as in, our time as college students.
I don't think that we have enough weeks in the year to cover every single Billy Joel song in 2 years.
I mean, we can replay some.
No. There'd be too many.
Oh, there are too many?
Not enough.
There are too many. Even if we keep going 52 weeks a year for the next year and a half.
I don't think we're going to go 52 weeks a year for the next year and a half.
We can try. Or we could break down and have 2 shows a week because our listeners can't get enough of us.
I'm pretty sure they can.
Yeah, they're probably sick of us.
Speaking of listeners, hi listeners. Seth, where can our listeners send some questions if they want to have some questions asked on the show when we bring up the second part of the show?
That was a very rough transition, Parker,
it was.
if we're being honest. But I will go ahead. Listeners, lovely, lovely humans and sometimes non-humans.
Doggos.
Woofers, or kitters, or snicks, or... Anyways, if you have any questions you'd like us to answer, we would be more than happy to talk about those on the radio show, give you a shout out. So you can send an email to sethandparker@gmail.com. That's sethandparker@gmail.com. Please send us questions. Talk to us.
But before we get into those questions, I just want to start with a PSA to one of our 3 listeners, Megan Goins, that there is a Taco Cat poster in the studio for the album Lost Time, and I feel like you needed to know that. But back to the second part of this show, which is what, Seth? I have a terrible memory.
Which is giving stupid answers to stupid questions, most of them coming off of Yahoo Answers, which is why people need to send us more questions.
Yes, would you like to start us off?
Yeah, I can do that, I think, if I can read the question.
Well, it's in English, so hopefully you can read it.
Okay. Is it wrong my mom is charging me rent?
Is it wrong if a parent decides to charge their child rent? Like, are they over or under 18?
That was about where I was going to go, because I think that if you're over 18... and it's kind of a responsibility thing, or you're choosing to live at home, or you're just being lazy, then maybe a little bit of, I think sounds fair.
I don't think anyone really chooses to live at home. It kind of just happens.
I know some people who they're it's going to be so much easier to live at home, or I'm too lazy to find my own place, so they choose to live at home, which is not bad to live at home. It's just a matter of, can you still act like an adult, or is living at home setting you back?
Do you know what adults do? Pay rent.
Well, yeah. But this person's obviously complaining about paying rent. Now, I think if they're under 18, that kind of comes into they're your parent, they should take care of you, so they shouldn't charge you rent. But if you're over 18, I think you don't have to charge full rent, because it's not you're actually renting a house, but a little bit of money to help out with bills around the house, especially if you're in a tougher financial situation, is fair, I think.
I actually have a story about this. Do you mind if I tell it?
Parker, you're going to tell it anyways.
Yes. So back in the day when I had coworkers, age 40 and up, when I worked at the restaurant La Bodega back in Kansas City, I had a coworker who told me a story about how he moved in with his parents after college and how he paid rent every single month. And when he finally moved out, his parents gave him all that rent money back, in a stack. They never, put it in the bank or anything.
Huh.
And this guy was 30. He had a 10-year-old daughter, and it just reminded me that, I probably will never move in with my parents. Because I don't think they're...
It reminded you that you will probably never move in with your parents, Parker?
Yeah, I mean, my dad vehemently said that once you move out of the house, aka college, you're not moving back in worth snuff.
Thank you for not finishing that.
Yeah, it was just a very persistent reminder. And then my sister moved back in with them. I can obviously see who the favorite child is.
Yeah, Parker. I wonder why you're not the favorite child.
Probably because I dishonor my family on the radio every week.
I dishonor on your family for a lot of things.
Yeah, probably. And also that I'm a strong, independent man who hates Kansas weather.
And you're also Catholic. Well, no, you're a bad Catholic.
That has nothing to do with that. I'm the only one of my siblings that is still Catholic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, fun fact Friday right there.
Shout PSA for Catholics.
Yeah.
I don't have one.
There's one in every crowd, and it's usually me.
Fair enough.
But are you ready for our next question?
Yeah, go ahead.
This one comes from the incorrigible, and unfortunately the final question we have from Lynette Wolf, our wonderful, wonderful listener.
Final question. Did she die?
No, that is just from... We've been drawing from the same email for the past 12 weeks.
Oh, I thought she kept coming up.
No, but she got engaged recently.
What?
I think I told you this.
No, you didn't. Congratulations, Lynette.
And she... You want to know the story of the proposal?
Of course.
Okay, so it was a scavenger hunt of all the important places in her relationship. And one of... she went from Kanza...
This is sounding very familiar, but go on.
She went to Kanza, she went to, the movie theater, she went to Petco, where the pets go, and there were people stationed at each of these places. I was stationed at Green Tea Sushi, and she skipped me.
What?
She just went right over from the Kanza Prairie to Goldstone Ice Cream, and I was not to be found at Green Tea Sushi. And since
you were just waiting there?
Yeah, I was waiting there until people were like, "Oh my gosh, she went from Cold Stone. Oh my gosh." And I was a little miffed that I yelled at her when we stopped at the movie theater for her next clue.
Okay.
So, thank you, Lynette, but also, we'll go on with your question. It asks, what character from Stranger Things are you? Have you seen Stranger Things yet, Seth?
No, sir, but I'm about to look up Stranger Things characters.
Why? I recommended this back in August. I feel like you are not listening to my recommendations.
To watch this?
Yes. I have famously good taste in TV. And this is the one thing I actually have good taste in. I just say I have good taste in media. And most people agree with me that I don't waste my time on inadequate media.
Yeah.
That's why the only radio show I listen to is Why with Seth and Parker.
Yeah, and I think I would agree with you that you have good taste. It's just this semester was way too much for me. I almost did not make it.
That's why I took a weekend off and watched it. I vegged down on the couch. It was wonderful. Are you eating candy while we're on the radio?
No, I'm putting in a throat lozenge because I keep coughing.
Okay, wow, this is highly unprofessional.
You're highly unprofessional. But look at you. You're sitting there with your feet propped up on the desk like you're a dirty, dirty, filthy animal.
No, I am not. And you cannot prove that because this is a audio medium.
I'm looking at Parker. I'm looking at you right now.
No, you aren't.
I don't have to prove you to our
you aren't.
I don't have to prove you to our listeners.
I believe our listeners know that I am a firm believer in the rules of society, and I would never put my feet on the desk. What is this? Dead Poet Society?
Yeah, pretty much, because we're poetic people here,
no,
Parker.
We aren't. I would say that I would be Winona Ryder from
In that
Stranger
picture
Things.
I just took of you says differently.
Okay. Who's going to see that?
Everyone.
Everyone.
I'm putting it on the internets.
Okay, I bet you are. But she is the one who had a mental breakdown at the very beginning because her son got kidnapped by science.
Well, that might be me, the mental breakdown one.
And she listens to the lights, and that's why I was playing with the lights the other day.
Okay.
And she's always like, well. And then her son has to take care of her other son who didn't get kidnapped by science.
Okay.
Who would you be?
I just looked up the names, and I liked Dr. Martin Brenner just because it's doctor.
No, I think you'd be 11.
11?
That's the bald girl who had science done to her.
The bald girl who had science done to her.
Yep, she has freaky mind powers and bloody noses.
Okay.
And has a daddy thing. So it sounds perfect for you.
Oh, I'm not into the daddy thing.
I don't know anything about your personal life.
I will tell you, I'm not into the daddy thing.
Okay.
I will clarify that. This is one thing I'm not into. But
just the one. He's into everything else.
That's not just the one. That is one
Chains
of the
and
things
whips
that I'm not
excite
into.
him.
Oh my gosh.
I may be bad, but I'm perfectly good at it.
Anyways.
Isn't that Beyonce?
No. Good
it's
try,
not.
though.
Rihanna?
Yes.
Yes.
Good job.
Second time's a charm.
Yeah. Anyways. So, but you did tell me a story about Lynette.
Yes.
And I want to go back to that because I have a very similar story to it.
Then why would we say it again if it's so similar?
Because it's about Megan.
Oh, joy.
And that is basically how I asked Megan out, fun fact, because, oh yeah, by the way, to our listeners, I dated Megan. She was on the radio a few weeks ago with us. She did fun. And then, so I put clues and little stuffed animals all over the place, and then she had to come find me at Tuttle, where I had a dozen Taco Bell roses. Like, I made the roses out of verde sauce.
That's stupid.
And then I had Taco Bell for like us to sit down and eat. And yeah, that's the story of me asking her out.
I've had train rides longer than some of your relationships, just so you know.
Yeah, I'm aware. But also, since our audience also already knows the breakup story, because I've told it at least 3 times,
yes,
I figure they should know the beginning story. So now you do. The more you know.
Okay, you ready for the next question?
Should I ask it?
I think it's your turn.
Unfortunately. If you had to choose one fruit to eat for the rest of your life, like you'd need nothing else, what fruit would that be?
How about, what would you say? Like, what are we constituting as a fruit here? Is like tomato a fruit?
It's
It's not the answer, but is it a fruit?
I was going to ask, does a gay man count as a fruit?
Oh, Lord. I don't think you can sustain yourself on gay men.
Don't get to what?
Sustain yourself
on gay
I'm
men.
pretty sure your body would
What
shut
about
down with
cannibalism?
I think your body shuts down eventually.
Oh, really?
Yep.
See, I didn't know that.
The more you know. Ba-doop, boop, ba-doop. Cannibalism's bad for you, but not just in the moral way. It's true.
Okay.
But, is watermelon a fruit?
Yes, watermelon would be fruit. And I think for me, I would count tomato as a fruit.
I'm not... Watermelon's not very flavorful, but you do... Like, are you allowed to drink water? Because that's a good form of hydration. Huh.
I mean, watermelon would hydrate. Like, fruit, like...
Okay, I found my answer. The answer is grapefruit. It's a good fruit. And I think that it's acidic, but also sugary and can sustain you with its flesh.
Okay. I'm also... Can I read a quote that just came across the internet?
No, is it relevant?
Yes, because we're talking about sustaining on, like, fruits.
Okay.
One of our gays just jumped in with a comment.
Hey, Seth.
And I quote.
Why don't we try to dehumanize them a little bit more?
No, one of our gays, because I love our gays a lot.
No, that's very dehumanizing.
Okay, a person who happens to be gay.
Believe it or not, everyone is not like you and defines themselves solely by their sexual orientation.
Oh, but I don't.
Believe it or not, this person is a 3-dimensional being.
Only 3?
Yes.
Not like 5?
No. This isn't Stranger Things.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Anyways, the quote is, "I sustain myself on gay men all the time." From Tanner. Thank you, Tanner.
Why did Tanner put in a word?
Just Tanner put in a word, so I'm giving him a
Like
shout
how?
out.
Like, is he actually listening to us?
He's listening to us.
Oh, Lord. Hi, Tanner. Congratulations on graduating. God have mercy on your soul.
Good luck figuring out what to do. Hope you're feeling better after last night.
Yeah, don't puke and bring men home. That's kind of dipshit.
Ah, button.
I didn't say the bad word.
Oh,
did you press it?
Yeah.
Did you press it?
I
pressed the button.
pushed the button.
I didn't say the bad word.
I felt
that
like
was a
you did.
false alarm.
Well, I practiced. I hit the button.
You thought wrong.
I was worried.
You are so silly.
I know.
I don't think Tanner heard me insult him.
I know.
Don't get hella drunk on a graduation night and bring home random men. That's kind of weird.
I don't think you brought home men.
Not this time.
Okay, that's good advice.
Okay, so I don't think you actually properly answered the question.
Oh, I know.
The grapefruit was the answer.
Yeah, and then I got distracted. And
yes, it's not hard.
I'm not going to sustain myself on gay men. That's the truth. But I would probably sustain myself on strawberries.
Is that a fruit? Are berries fruit?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are a fruit.
Are you ready for our next question?
Yeah, it's your turn to ask.
Okay. This question comes from our lovely listener, Megan Goins, and it asks, what are your thoughts on snakes? What are your thoughts on snakes? That wasn't an answer.
Those are my thoughts.
Okay. I think that snakes are all right, I guess. I just don't want to see an abundance of them.
Yeah, I think they're cool, and I'm not going to go out of my way to see them or touch them or do things with them. But if they're there, they're cool. If they stay out of my way, they're cool. If they happen to run in front of my lawnmower, cool.
Did you know that there is actually only one poisonous snake in the world?
Really?
Yes, the others are venomous or non-venomous. The only poisonous snake in the world is the spitting cobra, and it spits its venom, and if you ingest it, therefore it's poisonous.
So it's
if you eat
poison
it,
if you ingest it.
Yeah.
It's venom if it bites you.
Yes.
Okay. See, I just learned
if
something
it eats you and you get sick, then it is venomous. If you eat it and you get sick, then it is poisonous. So there's an actual fun fact that you can take away from this.
Wow, they actually learned something from our show.
Do you have any actual thoughts on snakes?
I think I don't have any super crazy thoughts on snakes. They're kind of there, they're kind of not. I know Megan has a weird snake fetish, but I'm not into snakes really in any way, shape, or form.
What about pasta?
Pasta is a whole other story. I would kill a man for pasta.
Okay.
I love carbs.
Yes, dear. Are you ready for a song, do you think?
Yeah, this would be a good time to take a break for a song.
I think so.
So are you, but the question is, are you ready for a song? Because I haven't told you what song we're going to play yet.
Would you like
surprise.
to? Okay. Is it again jalapenos and marijuana? Because I wouldn't say no to that. This could be the weekly show where we listen to jalapenos and marijuana and dissect Billy Joel songs, and that could be okay with me.
I mean, we could, Parker. You know how we need to make a promo? That could be our background.
More like homo.
We could make that as our background, but that's an idea for later. But with the Christmas season coming around, I'm gonna go ahead and play us a Christmas song, but I'm gonna get a little backwoods up in here and pull out some Jeff Foxworthy.
Joy.
And this song is called "The Redneck 12 Days of Christmas." It's tear jerking. I love that. It's everything you could ever want in a redneck hillbilly Christmas song.
I don't get the whole country mindset.
I don't get your mindset. You can be wrong.
You are a lot like my sister in this aspect.
Is that a bad thing?
Yes.
I met
She
your
is
sister. She's so cool.
Fake country.
Okay, that's different than actually
you being also fake country.
No, me having grown up in the country and at least having some kind of understanding of it. I'm not gonna say I'm full country, but I at least I can function in a country setting.
I do doubt that.
Well, you can doubt that all you want, doubting Thomas, but Thomas doubted.
My name is Parker.
Thomas doubted Jesus, and he still got.
This is not a religious show. We are being secular here.
Well, I'm not. We're talking about Christmas.
Yes.
I don't know.
The biggest consumer holiday in the entire year.
I mean, you're not wrong.
So yes. Are you ready for a semi-related question to that?
Oh, this is related. Yes.
Yes.
I didn't even do this on purpose.
Yes, this one involves math, something neither of us are very good at. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
This one actually comes from our lovely host, Parker, and it asks,
Oh.
what item does the sweetheart from 12 Days of Christmas get the most of? Fun fact, I did not do the math for this, and we were either going to work it out or just take a random guess. So, like, if you got a song for... let's say the first day of Christmas you get one partridge in a pear tree, and then the second day of Christmas you get 2 turtle doves and a partridge in a pear tree. So now you have 2 of each. Which one do you get the most of after singing all 12 verses of the song?
I'm trying to remember what the 12th thing is.
12 Lords a Leaping.
Lords a Leaping.
Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's one partridge in a pear tree.
Turtle doves,
Turtle doves,
French hens,
4
calling birds,
5
5 golden rings, 6 geese a laying, 7 millions a milking.
Swans a swimming, 8 maids a milking, 9 dancers dancing, 10
Lords a Leaping?
10 I think that's 10 lords a leaping. Oh, here, it's right here. 10 lords a leaping, 11 pipers piping, 12 drummers drumming. I think you would have more. Ooh.
Because you only get 12 drummers drumming, and you get 12 partridges in pear trees.
Yeah.
So would you get the most geese a laying, or what's 7th again?
7 was lords a leaping.
Because you get
6 maids a milking. 7
because you
lords
get
a leaping.
7 6 times, and you get 6 7 times. I feel like those would balance out, right?
Yeah.
So those would be the 2 most gifts, right?
For what? Sorry, which one? I zoned out for a second.
The 6 geese a laying and 7 pipers piping, or whatever.
7 swans a swimming.
Yeah.
Okay, Parker.
That feels right, doesn't it?
Do you want to know the real answer?
You looked it up.
I cheated and I looked it up because I wanted to see if you were going to be right or not.
Was I right?
Parker, deal or no deal? Just kidding.
I don't know what are the premises of this.
Parker.
Do I say deal if I want to stay with my answer, or no deal?
Yes, deal if you want to stick with the answer.
Deal.
Parker, you made a good deal.
Okay.
That means you were right.
Yeah. So there's both of them.
Yep. So because the 6 and the 7 alternate and flop off for a total of 42.
Also, who with this true love? What does he have an exception with birds?
I just
so many birds.
But also the 12 redneck days of Christmas, 6 cans of Spam, 7 packs of Red Man. That's what you're gonna get.
Red
Man, right?
I don't think that's right.
I'm pretty sure it's 7 packs of Red Man, 6 cans of Spam.
What's Red Man? Dare I ask?
I think it's jerky.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
You're pretty sure?
Let's see. Oh, it's tobacco.
Oh, of course it is.
I thought it was jerky. It's actually tobacco, y'all.
Don't say y'all. Also, Fun Fact Friday. Do you know about the Christmas Index?
What is the Christmas Index, Parker?
The Christmas
Enlighten us.
Index is seeing how much the 12 days of Christmas cost, or just the 12th day, getting you each of these gifts. And depending on whether it goes up and down, you can see the growth of the economy.
Yeah, I'd believe that.
So every December, this company out of I think it's Philadelphia puts out the Christmas Index to see whether things have gotten more or less expensive over the past year, to see the growth or shrinking of the economy.
Parker, I thought you didn't want today to be educational.
Darn. Shucks. Gee willikers. Where's my beer?
Good golly.
But I guess it's in my nature to be educational because I'm so smart and I want to share that with others.
You're not usually good at sharing.
Knowledge, yes.
No, you're just not good at sharing.
Knowledge. I have my T-vowels that say otherwise.
Okay, well, that's different. That's it. Anyways.
Are you saying I'm not a good teacher?
I'm just saying you're not a good person.
That has nothing to do with sharing knowledge.
I mean, it kind of does if you're a personable person.
I am personable.
Either you.
My personal is just unpleasant.
Yeah, there's that. But
you can have unpleasant, personable people.
Instead of talking about how bad of a person you are.
And how you did not answer that question before looking it up.
Sorry, I am using my resources.
That's the same as cheating.
Nope, using my resources. It's different. But how about we move on to the next question?
Sure. I believe it's your turn to ask.
It would be my turn. It says, My friend argues that back when we had slaves, we gave them free food and housing, so it wasn't that bad for them. What do I tell him? I'm going to let you take care of this one, Parker.
I answered the last one first, but I will tell you that this question should reword a former friend of mine.
A former friend of mine, yeah.
But no, I believe that any kind of assumption like this could make sense. I mean, you're looking for things that align with your worldview. And if you think that slavery was a good idea because dehumanizing people to animals is worthy because we treat animals somewhat humanely, I feel like, that's something you really can't argue because they're only looking for things to reinforce their worldview. But, you know what? It was not a good system, just in case you're wondering. Well, it was good for the people on top.
Yeah, the people who benefited from it.
Yes. But it definitely was not humane. I believe that it wasn't very socialist like what your friend is trying to lay out with free food, housing, and good regulations on stuff. I feel like it was more of a bureaucratic nightmare that dehumanized people to their core, and that I feel like it's time for Seth to start talking.
You know, I think you need to tell your friend that even if you were provided housing, quote unquote housing, it's not actual housing, and you got to remember that if I'm remembering my history right, I didn't like it, but I did take it. If I'm remembering my history right, there were times that they were still charged for, like, they were charged a rent. They got quote unquote paid. Is this sounding familiar,
I
Parker?
do not know.
Okay, I think, don't quote me on this, but like sometimes the slaves did get quote unquote paid, but then they were charged such high living rates, food rates, etc., that it's like they lost money. And so, it's something that you have to be like, it wasn't equitable housing without rent. It was boards
Terrible.
and sleeping on the floor, and you still have to get up at the break of dawn and do work and get shouted at, and very inhumane. I like your choice of words right there.
Did you ever watch the show The Boondocks?
I have not, Parker, but I feel like you'll probably enlighten me, so let's hear it.
I have wonderful taste in television. I'll tell you what.
Says you.
But The Boondocks is a very, very, raunchy television show.
Just like your love life?
No, not at all. No one's filming it.
None that you know of.
Oh,
I'm
Lord.
selling that stuff without your knowledge.
I feel like I can sue you now.
Yeah, but you don't have any proof.
It's out there somewhere. We've gotten disrailed, and I feel like we need to go on to the next question.
But did you?
Nope. You ruined it.
You ruined it.
Fair enough.
You're
ready
the one
for
who,
the next question.
Yeah, go ahead and ask.
If wisdom comes from experience, how can very young people be wise?
Okay, so this is actually something I'm kind of passionate about, because young people, just because they're young, does not mean that they can't have life experience that is valid. And I think that older generations like to say, you're young, you'll figure it out when you're older. But it's like that invalidates the actual life experience that young people have had, and that life experience actually means a lot to us.
I don't agree with the premise.
I think it also depends on how young a person is too.
I don't agree from the premise. If wisdom comes from experience, I believe that I've learned lots of things by not directly experiencing it. I believe that stuff like cocaine is bad for you and that it will cause a wonderful high, but the crash will be terrible, terrible, and has significant side effects on your health. I do not need an experience to back up that wisdom. I just know that from other people's experiences. I believe the true mark of an intelligent person is that they can learn from other people's successes and failures. But I will reiterate, or kind of, try to put in the foreground that past success is not an indicator of future success. So you can make an informed decision off previous life experience and learned experience, but that will not guarantee the same outcome.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
But also, no one's wise. Everyone is an idiot, relatively compared.
If you remember that, you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, that people are not rational beings. They base stuff off of emotion, random chance, and stuff like that. That people are not purely rational beings. You cannot have a formula for expected outcome of human behavior. That's just not something you can do with all the variables of life. What I'm trying to say is that life kind of sucks, and it sucks less with people.
Is what?
It sucks less with people.
Yeah.
Because they give you previous experience that will sometimes mark future success.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
I think that was very well done. And Parker, you're you keep complaining about doing things well and giving really good responses, but you keep doing it.
I just like to complain. This is not a show for smart and intelligent answers to really profound questions. That'd be a very long-winded intro.
Yeah, right? And
I don't have enough syllable enunciation skills for that.
Yeah, I can tell.
No. Are you making fun of me?
Parker, I'm always
I take
making
offense because I had a speech development disorder, so you don't need to be that way.
Well, I mean, you make fun of me for rando things, and I make fun of you for rando things. That's how this friendship works. Friendship, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Something, not anymore.
Yeah, something like that. Are you ready for our next question?
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on. I'm going to ask it, and I'm going to ask it the exact way the author would ask it.
And I think this is our penultimate question, if you're all right with that.
Yep, that's a good thing. Sounds good to me. So this question comes from our good friend Megan, and the question is, have you ever met someone with a snake fetish?
Or let's say fetish on the radio, or maybe we should spell that out.
We did.
Fetish. Fetish. Maybe we'll get away with it because it's so long that it's not picked up by FCC.
I mean, it's in good taste though. We're having a legit conversation about life, and
good taste is a fetish as well.
Anyways, yeah, Megan.
I don't think she actually has a snake fetish.
I think so.
I believe it's just an uncanny appreciation. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's borderline.
Borderline?
Yeah.
We're both typing at the same time.
Yeah,
we're not really
weird.
Producing content for the radio.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to produce content, and then
that's your fault for assuming that I'll do anything productive. Again, the whole point of undercutting the abilities of this show is to, surprise people pleasantly when I think of thoughtful, well-worded responses.
Yeah.
You're not continuing off that, so this is a really bad, rolling and
okay. I was supposed
adding
to
anything.
Let's restart that, and then I'll actually continue, because it needs to flow.
Okay, since I don't remember what I said, I'm going to say some random gibberish. The bees in the porridge on the side of the house on the Maine coast made me sad that I never saw Canada again.
And it's really hard when you think of Canada as such.
No, you're supposed to go off the question, not my random gibberish.
Oh, this is odd. I answered the question. I said that Megan was the person that I have met.
Do you think people secretly have a snake fetish?
I mean, it's possible. People are into some weird stuff.
But if you had to pick one other person from your life that you might possibly think have a snake fetish, who would it be?
There's literally no one, Parker.
People are sneaky. People lie. I've learned that from House.
Yeah.
I've been binge watching it recently. Everyone lies. So, hypothetically, no one ever listens to this show. So, hypothetically, who has a snake fetish in your life?
There's no one.
No one. Not a coworker, not someone you know from church, not someone you've had a class with that you really don't like.
I cannot think of literally anyone. Maybe Jed.
Jed, okay. So now we're going to call out the random gay person?
I mean, it's just...
An undescript gay person who happens to be listening to this show. Oh my god.
I mean, I just think it's fitting because, it's Jed and Megan are meant to be.
I feel like they would make the worst Adam and Eve.
They're the best couple.
Oh my goodness gracious. I'm just ashamed right now.
There's a lot.
More than usual.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of shame happening in this room.
Mm-hmm. I mean, oh Lord. I kind of feel hurt at the moment.
Hurt?
Hurt.
Hurt.
Wounded even.
Well, that's good because then you can die and I can have the show all to myself.
Oh, one can only hope. This show has been brought to you by terminal brain cancer. Terminal brain cancer. Megan, tell your brother-in-law to give me some. Please. It's actually just not brother-in-law. It's, what's it, step-brother. But speaking of brother-in-laws, Jed's brother, please give me a call. I want to make you my brother-in-law.
Or just...
Jed would be my brother-in-law.
Anyways, so moving on to the closure of the show.
Okay, Seth, we are coming up on the very important show. It's like the very, very end of the show, and we asked this very, very twisted and convoluted question that we actually learned things today, and we're not going to discuss that. But I will ask you, Seth, what did we learn today?
The first thing that we learned today was that Megan has a snake
I
fetish.
don't think she does. Do we really learn that?
Shh, Parker, you asked me, I answered.
Okay.
Move on.
I will move on once you ask me the question.
Parker, what did we learn today?
We learned that the history of Billy Joel is great and musical, and that life is just a little better when you're listening to some upbeat rap. Classy rap.
We also learned, Parker, that Seth is at times a closeted redneck.
I don't think that's true, but we're going to disregard that for the next thing we learned today, that Seth is a ho-ho-ho. That has nothing really to do with the show, but I just wanted to let you know that you should feel bad about yourself.
Oh, believe me, I do try to feel bad about myself, but then I look at you, and I feel better.
I'm here to make other people feel worse, not feel better. What am I, a
then
Christmas
you're doing
special?
everything wrong.
Okay. What else did we learn today, Seth?
We learned that we're basically just hoping that the FCC doesn't pick up when we say things we're not sure we can say. And then we say them and hope for the best.
Oh, hoping is a large part of this show. Finally, we learned that Parker, unlike Seth, did the math. Dare I say the monster math.
Yep.
There was a graveyard graph.
I was very impressed. Good job.
I actually did some math. Suck it, calculus teacher from 2 years ago that taught me nothing.
Well, Parker, you sound to be like you're harboring some bitterness.
Sloth, you're right.
More like bitterness.
Oh, Lord. Bitter hiss. But Sloth, would you like to take us out of the show?
I would. Everyone, thank you for joining us this week. Parker, we didn't rewrite the end.
Yes, I did.
No. Oh, what?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I rewrote the end. How do you not have faith in me, Sloth?
Okay. Thank you for joining us this week. Join us next week when we listen to more Billy Joel music, continue to give bad advice, make more inappropriate jokes, and answer the age-old question, is Secret Santa like a jolly version of Victoria's Secret? In the meantime, send an email to sethandparker@gmail.com with any questions you might like us to discuss.
You don't think I can write out a show? Man, this is just some shenanigans right here. You don't trust that I wrote something new?
I just want timeline issues, but okay, we will see all of our lovely listeners in the future.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, Lord.
Can you
Turn... Oh, Lord.